Netrunner is a game with a lot of cards, but a lot fewer cards than a lot of other card games. So learning the most powerful and common cards is a very important part of the new player experience, but potentially a frustrating one. If you're a new Netrunner player in 2025, you may have noticed that there are some cards that are very important to be aware of. These are the kind of cards that, while they can create some of the game's most delectable tension, they can also turn some people off of the game outright. Put yourself in the shoes of the novice runner who, after carefully assembling all the satisfyingly interlocking pieces of their rig, makes a run at a server and steals a mid-game agenda. Great, they think. Well, it would be, except in this case, they're about to get buried alive in tags. Or, say you're playing as a corp. You set up a remote with some ice, your game is off to a great start, you have enough credits to res both the ice and the thing behind it, say an anthill, to make some money back this next turn, only to find your wealth criminally transferred before you even had a chance to spend it. That's random and unfair, you might protest while doing whatever that was. Are the designers of this game just masochists?
This is crazy. You want me to hit you?
That's right.
What, like in the face?
Surprise me.
Listen, maybe I'm not here to kink shame, but what I can say with certainty is that these kinds of cards are the lifeblood of Netrunner, and being able to navigate these threats while doing what you have to do in the game is one of my favorite aspects of high-level play. For real though, making mistakes is how you learn the threats in this game. All the good players have gone through this at some point. And this video is just here to help you along if it feels intimidating. Most of the cards in today's video are going to be from the corp side, since there's a lot of ways for the corp to help the runner meet a tragic end. The most straightforward of which is measured response. On its own, this card might seem straightforward to play against. It's only playable at threat 4, which means when either player has at least 4 agenda points. Before then, it's blank. But once it's online, the runner should really only make a run if afterward they'll still have those 8 panic button credits, 4 cards in hand, or both. Measured response tends to be lethal in pairs. If you survive the first copy, the corp might just try to measure twice, cut once, if you're not prepared. Good corp players will tend to use the card's mere existence as a fork. A fork is a setup where the runner has to make a decision with no good options. On the left, steal an agenda out of this expensive remote, go broke in the process, and then die to measured response. On the right, keep your cards and your credits, stay safe, but lose the game anyway, because the corp scores the game-winning agenda. Your choice. Of course, you can keep your options open if you can see the fork coming. Besides just having money and cards, knowing that measured response is one of the rare operations with a trash cost, meaning you can actually trash this card if you access it from HQ or R&D, provides the runner a rare opportunity to actually proactively deal with this threat. Hunting these cards down in HQ will minimize the chance that you can get hit with multiple copies later on. On the runner side, the threats are less immediate death and more huge tempo swings. Damaging a corp really means hitting their money or trashing cards, and a crippling blow can actually take multiple turns for the corp to bounce back from, even if it doesn't end the game outright. Transfer of wealth is one of the best examples of this. This is a key criminal event. It allows the runner to steal the corp's credits if they can get into HQ. More than that, they can also access a card, allowing them to use those ill-gotten gains for the trash costs of things like, oh, I don't know, that card with the trash cost you might remember. And it costs 0 credits to play, so if they can get into the server, they can bounce back to a healthy credit total too. But it's not just staying rich. Doing most anything for the corp costs credits, and suddenly missing 3 of them may make that pivotal ice impossible to res, or prevent you from scoring that agenda next turn. And you may just be clicking for credits to get back on track. Here's how you do with transfer wealth right now. If you sit down across from a criminal player or a sub deck right now, you ice HQ turn 1 or as soon as possible. There are other strong cards besides transfer of wealth worth mentioning, like Shestushka and Burner. Those also target HQ. It seems like most of the big ones are HQ. Illumination's a new one that targets R&D. So those are other threats to be aware of. Back to murder. If the runner forgets to clear the tag from transfer or just can't afford to, then there are so many nasty things that the corp can do with it. But sometimes the most straightforward plan is the best. End of the line is the go-to finisher for many a cardboard violence connoisseur. With 2 tags and 2 copies of End of the Line, the Corp can spend 6 credits to deal 8 meat damage. So that means the runner needs some combination of multiple copies of Steelskin Scarring, or Stone Ship Chart Room, or extra hand size to survive that turn. The prepared runner can avoid running late in the turn to avoid getting tags that they can't clear. They can use cards like Lie Low to more efficiently remove tags on their turn without costing a lot of credits, or they can have pre-installed cards like No Free Lunch to be able to clicklessly remove the tags and therefore avoid the threat of death. If the Corp manages to stick only 1 tag, then End of the Line isn't necessarily lethal, but it can be with just a little help. One nasty little helper card to be aware of is Touch-Ups. This verbose little thing allows the Corp to name a card type like Event or Resource, reveal the runner's grip, and put 2 cards that match that type back into the stack. It's not so much damage as it is surgery. It's a double, meaning the Corp has to spend 2 clicks to use it, but if the Corp guesses right and sees 2 cards that match, then your 5-card hand that used to survive End of the Line suddenly becomes a 3-card hand that doesn't. Counterplay against this particular 2-card combo really involves not being tagged at the end of your turn. It may help to keep a diversity of cards in your hand, but the skilled players out there are going to be kind of hard to trip up. Event is going to be a default guess for most people because they tend to pile up in your hand, but naming Resource against Seb or Program against an Arasana player might make a lot of sense. Also, people will look at your stack before making this guess probably, just to see how many of each type of card has already got put in the bin, and they tend to know what cards get played, so good luck. So if we have to avoid getting tags to avoid dying, then how does the Corp give us tags in the first place? Well, right now, Oppo Research is one of the mainstays of tag giving in the Corp meta in 2025. This is a card that, as retribution for trashing a Corp card, the audacity, or stealing an agenda, again, the audacity, the Corp can spend 2 credits at the end of their turn to give you 2 tags, or if it is threat 3, they can spend 7 credits to give you 4 tags. During the early game, 2 tags can usually be cleared and it's mostly just a tempo loss. But once threat 3 rolls around, you really want to plan your trashes and your agenda steals around when you will finish your turn with the remaining 8 credits in hand to spend all of next turn clearing tags if needed. Or run when the Corp doesn't have the 7 credits they need for the big Oppo. Those 8 credits, by the way, are only useful if you have 4 clicks to remove the tags with, and those 4 clicks aren't guaranteed on your turn because of a thing called False Lead. False Lead is an agenda that has only caused pain. It's a 3-1 that, when scored, can be forfeit to steal, I say, 2 clicks from the runner. If one of these is scored, then that big Oppo will very likely mean that the runner ends their turn floating a fatal number of tags. And if 2 are scored, heaven forbid, the Corp gets to skip directly from opposition to elimination. No Free Lunches instant tag removal, again, is one way to pry free from this particular death trap. And also Stone Ship Chart Room will allow you to draw cards at instant speed, although you need multiple copies to get to the required 8-card threshold not to die. Another way for the Corp to give tags is Public Trail, and this one's proactive. They can do it on their turn. If the runner made a successful run on their last turn, unless they pay 8 credits, they will give the runner a tag. 8, it turns out, is sort of a magic number for death prevention in NSG Netrunner. It's the cost to clear 4 tags from a big Oppo, it's the cost to stop a measured response, and it's the cost to stop a public trail. So when in doubt, just have 8 credits at the end of your turn. However, remember, when dealing with these kind of combo-based kills like public trail and end of the line, these cards have to sit in the Corp's hand in order to actually be used. So there are some cards that can disrupt HQ that are worth mentioning here. Burner can put combo pieces on the bottom of the Corp's deck, buying the runner a ton of time while the Corp tries to get those cards back. Similarly, and maybe even better in some aspects, Cupulation can straight up steal a combo piece, like End of the Line, and put it on the Cupulation where the Corp doesn't get to have that at all. You can just choose to never use the Cupulation's ability again and keep that card safely tucked away. If nothing else, running HQ will give you an idea of when those combo pieces show up, so you can decide when going below 8 credits or 4 cards is getting too risky. There are many other ways for the Corp to give the runner tags, and we won't be able to list them all, but some honorable mentions go to Behold, Bite, Oracle Think Tank, and some ice like Ping. And in each case, the way to deal with them is the same. Run early so that you have time to deal with any surprises the Corp has up their sleeve. That's good advice generally speaking, but it might be hard to see why until you just get shot a few times.
What did we learn, Palmer?
I don't know, sir.
I don't know either. I guess we learned not to do it again.
Yes, sir.
Well, if I know what we did.
Yes, sir. It's hard to say.
And that's kind of the thesis of this whole video. There's plenty more gotcha plays and instant kill threats in Netrunner, but half of the fun of this game is losing in unexpected and cool ways. When your opponent pulls out a card combination you've never seen before, it's awesome. It's like, oh my God, I never thought about those card interactions before. So the next time that a cold-hearted runner steals all your credits or a nasty corporation caps you in the back alley, remember, it's entirely your own fault and we warned you about all the possibilities. Maybe that's too harsh. How about this? Remember to run with your eyes closed because what you can't see can't hurt you.